Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to go ahead and be a Halloween tutorial video. This is the look that we are going to go ahead and do. It's kind of like a Dia de los Muertos look. So this is that look. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for y'all just a little bit, that way y'all can look at it just a little bit closer. So I'm more than positive that this video is going to go ahead and be a voiceover, because the way that I filmed it is so long, so I prefer it to be a voiceover. That way I can cut it the way that I need to be. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you do like this video, and if you have not turned on your post notifications, make sure to go ahead and do so. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at Ariel Celeste, as well as my Twitter. It's the same handle. I think that's basically it. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so I went ahead and did my brow as well as prime my lid off camera. Next thing that we're going to do is carve out the cut crease. Because this is a rainbow cut crease, I wanted to go ahead and carve it out first before I did my wing. Especially because it's going out kind of by my brow, and I didn't want to draw my wing and then not have enough room to go ahead and make that like little carve thing. So we are going to use the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. This is my favorite colorful palette. I have not used it yet on my channel. I just love all these shades. These shades are just so amazing. They're so beautiful. I know that it does come with a few shimmers, as well as like some highlight and a white and a black down here, as well as all these other shades. So starting off, the first brush that we're going to go ahead and grab is an angled brow brush. My brush is just a typical brush from Morphe. We're going to go ahead and dip into the yellow shades out of the Take Me Back to Brazil palette by BH Cosmetics. Starting off at the beginning of the brow, right below it, we're going to go ahead and start applying that yellow. While applying that yellow, you're going to go ahead and kind of draw it out like following the brow shape that you have. That's going to be our main goal for this carving of the cut crease. So the next shade that we're going to go ahead and grab is the orange shade. What you're going to go ahead and do is apply that shade right next to the yellow, but while you're applying it, slightly blend it in with the end of that yellow that we just had earlier. And still following the same curvature of your brow. That's going to be the main key, like I said. Now taking the red shade out of the palette as well, we're going to go ahead and continue on drawing that cut crease. Like before, we are going to go ahead and blend it in. There's not a lot of steps to carving out this cut crease. It's a lot of picking the color up and adding it. So we're going to go ahead and add the pink as well, just adding it to the tail of the red that we just went ahead and did. So after going ahead and carving out that cut crease, the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is start to draw out the wing. Like I said before, I wanted to go ahead and carve out my crease first. I did learn this technique from James Charles. I did watch one of his videos, and he said that this would be the best bet. So I went ahead and did this first, and now we're just going to go ahead and complete this part of the look with the wing. So the next step that we're going to go ahead and do is taking a flat angled shader brush, and besides taking it straight, kind of like pointing it out, we're going to go ahead and lay it flat. That way the eyeshadow is more dispersed. Starting back off with the yellow, following these same shades that we did before, you're just going to go ahead and start buffing up the yellow a little bit higher, kind of towards the brow, but not completely into the brow. Like I said, just going ahead and following the same shades that we did before. So now picking up the orange shadow, we're going to go ahead and add that as well, buffing it up into the brow, but not completely into the brow, if that makes any sense. Just keep in mind that anytime that you're adding colors, that you are blending it in with the previous color that is on there. Now picking up the red, we're going to go ahead and do that as well. Back to what I was saying about blending in the colors. This is a rainbow look, so this would be best to go ahead and do so. That way the blending is perfected. Now picking up the pink shade, this is the last shade that we're going to go ahead and pick up. So picking back up that angled brow brush, we're going to go ahead and define the bottom of that cut crease. So starting back off with the yellow, you're just going to go ahead and take each color and really focus on the bottom of the crease, kind of carving it out a little bit more. Now taking the orange, keep in mind to go ahead and make sure that whenever you pick up each color that you are blending it in with the previous color. Now going ahead and picking up the red shade. With the red and the pink, make sure that you are adding a little bit of more extra shadow. That way it is more able to tell what color is what, because with the red and the pink, they do go ahead and get too similar, and it all looks like one color. So the next thing that we're going to do is taking a flat concealer brush and going over the wing but under the crease into that blank space that is right there. We're going to go ahead and add concealer, because after adding concealer, we're going to put on a white shadow on top of that. It's just going to go ahead and bring out the rainbow cut crease on top and just going to make it look a little bit more defined. So now grabbing that flat angled shader brush that we picked up before, we are going to go ahead and mix the two bottom shades, the white and the highlight, and we're going to go ahead and apply that, like I said, on top of the concealer part that we just did. So finishing off this part, we're going to go ahead and do lashes next using the Ardell foaming lashes in style 812. So with one eye done, I am back from putting on my lashes. The next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is the whole face. We are going to go ahead and put foundation all over our face. Since that part is going to be where the main part of the flower is going to be, it is best to go ahead and put foundation all over your face, because the paints that I am using, they do stain. So learning from experience, it's best to go ahead and put foundation on first, because last year I did this look similar and I had a pink flower stain to my face. So putting on the Pond's Nourishing Moisturizer, that is going to be the first layer of my base. So using my Bare Minerals Made to Fit foundation, that's the kind of foundation that I am going to use. So whenever I do use a foundation, I do use the Beauty Blender as well. And with the Beauty Blender, I do spray Revolution Pro Fix Illuminating Fixing Spray on the Beauty Blender. I feel like this step goes ahead and helps blend out the foundation a little bit more effortlessly and makes it look more like skin rather than like foundation. So now taking the BH Cosmetics Total Coverage Concealer in number 104, we're going to go ahead and place concealer as well. We're basically going to do the basic routine of the face. Like I said before, whenever I do use concealer, it's really just to cover up the red parts of my skin, because I do have a lot of redness in my skin. So the paints that I'm going to go ahead and use is the Wet n Wild paint palettes, as well as the paint pots. I did have to order these. I ordered these last year online. I believe some of Walgreens and CVS do carry them. So what we are going to do is, besides making a whole flower and having the petals go out, we're going to go ahead and do a flower and having little dots go around the flower. I'm going to go ahead and mix the blue as well as the red shade with the lighter purple shade down here. That way we can go ahead and get this color of purple. This is the shade that is in the other palette, and that I feel like that's too light. So we're going to go ahead and mix in all those shades to get this color purple. So using a flat concealer brush, we are going to go ahead and start drawing out the circle for the main part of the flower. So after completing drawing the circle, I did notice that the shade of purple that we did go ahead and make was a little bit too light. So what I went ahead and did was match the purple to my brow. So I did add a little bit of blue and red to make it a little bit darker. So now taking the edge of that concealer brush, what you're going to go ahead and do is start making petals. Using the concealer brush, you're going to slightly tap a little bit outside of the circle that we already made, giving the impression of petals. So after finishing up the petals, the next step is taking the colors out of each of the palette and placing a small dot within the petals. There is no specific way for the colors to go. What I'm just doing is kind of going around the palettes and doing it like that. I am going to go ahead and show the colors that I'm using first, and that's just going to be the colors that I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around with. At the end of me doing this, I do go ahead and add the same pattern of colors on top of my brow to accentuate the brow a little bit more. So now taking the paints, what we're going to go ahead and do is draw what looks like stitches. Each stitch is going to go ahead and be a different color. There is no specific way or color scheme that you should do it. You can go ahead and follow along the same colors that I'm using, but you don't have to. With the purple shade that I'm using right now, it is out of the palette, but I did notice that it is a little bit too light. So I went ahead and went over it with the color purple that we made a little while ago. Since we're basically done with the top part of the face, the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is bronze and highlight just real quick before we get into the rest of the face. We are almost finished, thank God, because I feel like this is forever. This video is probably going to be forever. It's going to be hella long, but I'm going to try to make it really short. So taking my normal normal bronzer brush and the Ciate London Bamboo Bronzer, we're just going to go ahead and bronze real quick. That we are going to go ahead and do is highlight. Like always, I'm using the Mannakadar split pan. So after doing this, now we can go ahead and continue back to using the paints. So the next shade that we're going to go ahead and use is this shade right here, and we're going to do the same that we've been doing on the face as far as drawing out the lines, kind of like stitches. Shade specifically, what you're going to go ahead and do is use that shade to insinuate the contour. Right now I'm going to go ahead and put this blue shade right inside of my contour. I'm dragging it out towards the mouth, and then on the other side of the face as well. With this one, we're going to go ahead and do it right above the contour as well, dragging it out into the mouth, but not completely touching the lips or anything around the mouth. Okay, so my camera did die, so during that time I went ahead and just put on red lipstick, as well as drew out this orange a little bit more. This is what the look is looking like. The next thing that we are going to go ahead and do is focus back on this side, and we're going to put glitter on the lid. It is going to go ahead and look kind of like a cut crease. So using the NYX Glitter Brilliance in shade Glitter 06. For glitter glue, we are using the Too Faced glitter glue. I've used this before, not on this channel but just prior. I honestly like the glitter glue. I have not used glitter in such a long time, so let's see how this goes. So once again, taking a flat concealer brush, what I like to do is going ahead and putting the glue down a little bit at a time, adding the glitter, and then going back and forth. This helps a lot rather than putting glue all over the lid and then having to go back and reapplying glue because part of the glue dried and the glitter is not sticking to it. So the next step is just going in and adding the other lash just to go ahead and complete this step of the eyes. The look is almost complete. What we are going to go ahead and do next is this under eye on the lash line. So now taking a flat definer brush, what we're going to go ahead and do is tap into the greens. We're going to go ahead and add that to the very corner of the bottom lash line. The next shade that we're going to go ahead and pick up is the blues, making the blue a little bit more lighter than darker. We're going to go ahead and do that with the next shade as well, which is purple, taking those two shades, focusing on the lighter one. So just like before, anytime that you are picking up a new shade, make sure that you are blending it in with the previous shade before, because this is a rainbow look and you do want to go ahead and make sure that it is blended all together. That way it's not sloppy looking. And then what we are also going to do is going to go ahead and put a white liner in the waterline. I am going to use the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. So after going in with that white shade, the very last step of this entire look is just going in with some white paint. I'm using the Wet n Wild paint pot as well. Just this, and I'm going to take a small concealer brush. So using that white paint on that concealer brush, what you're going to do is follow the bottom of your brow, and you're just going to go ahead and make a small tiny line under it just to situate the brow. This is the finished look. It's already dark out. That's why I have this lamp right here, and that's why this ugly shadow is behind me. This is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along. If you did, go ahead and follow along with me, or just watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm trying to hurry up and close out this video because I feel like this video was freaking forever. It took me like more than 2 hours to film. Next week there may or may not be a video. I'm quite not sure yet. If I film tomorrow, then for sure there'll be a video next week. But if I don't film tomorrow, then I'll go ahead and let y'all know that there will not be a video next week. Thank y'all guys so much for keeping up with me with all these videos, and thank y'all guys so much for following me and supporting me so far with this journey. And I think that's basically it, so I'll go ahead and catch y'all guys in the next one.